Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel once again. I hope you're doing good. So today we are going to be discussing the different types of flare that we have. So we have the 90-degree flare, 180-degree, 270, 360, 720, 1080 and 1440. These are actually the common types. There are a lot that you can form. So we'll be dividing this tutorial into two. Today, we'll be discussing the 90, 180, 270, 360. So in the next tutorial, we'll be discussing the 720 and the 1080. On my channel, I already have a tutorial for the 1440 degree. I'll leave the link in the description box. So guys, let's get to it. For the 90-degree flare, we are still going to use the radius of the circle. Alright, so any formula that we're going to form, we'll start from what we already know. We start from the known to the unknown. So the radius of a full circle, of a 360-degree circle, is circumference over 2 pi, where the circumference is the measurement round wherever it is you want your flare to be, maybe the waist or the sleeve, and the pi is 3.14. So now what you want to find is a quarter of the radius. For example, now this is a circle. So we want to find 90 degrees, which is a quarter of the circle, right? So now let's divide this into 4. This is 90. So that means we want to find 1/4 of a full circle. So this is 90 degrees, right? So that is why I have this here, 1/4 of r. So ultimately, the formula for r, which is the radius of a 90-degree flare, is 4 times circumference over 2 pi. So like I said, the circumference is wherever you want the flare to be. So I am going to use the waist of my mannequin, which is 26 inches. So now I'm going to do 26 times 4 divided by 2 pi. 2 pi is 2 times 3.14, which is the same as 6.28. So it's going to be 4 times 26 over 6.28. So if your waist, for example, is 35, and you want to make a 90-degree flare, it is going to be 4 times 35 divided by 6.28. It is constant. All right. So I got 16.56. So to cut it on your fabric, let's assume this is my fabric. I'm just going to lay my fabric on the table just like this, and then I'm going to start from one corner. So unlike the 180 and the 360, where we fold our fabric, in the 90-degree, you are not going to fold your fabric. You're going to measure it from one corner of your fabric. If you notice, this is actually a 90-degree because this is a straight line and this is a straight line. So this corner is a right angle, which makes it 90-degree. So now, since I already have my radius to be 16.56, I'm going to measure 16.56 for the radius. I am going to approximate this to 16.5. So this here is going to be my radius like this. So let's say the length I want to use is 5 inches. I will not start measuring my 5 inches from here. You know why? Because this is a curve. So measuring it like this is going to be a lot of work and it's going to be inaccurate. Okay, so what I do is that I prefer to add the length of whatever the flare is going to be for. For example, a sleeve, which is 5 inches. I prefer to add the length to my radius. So my radius is 16.56 and I approximated it to 16.5. So 16.5 plus 5, that will be 21.5. Okay, so what I do is that I measure from here. You know, this is a corner, so it is going to be accurate. At least more accurate than if I had measured from here. So usually, I measure the radius at the same time, simultaneously with the length. While I'm measuring the 16.5, at the same time, I'm measuring 21.5, which is the length. And then I go this way again, 16.5, 21.5, okay? 16.5, instead of doing it this first and then this again, it is like double work. So this is the length of my radius from here to here. So I'm just going to draw this curve with a free hand. So here to here is my radius. You see it's a very, very long one. And then here to here is the length of my flare. One other thing I think you should know is that when you're cutting the radius of your flare, don't cut exactly on the line of the radius. You know, usually joining allowances are 0.5 inches, right? So you measure 0.5 inches above this line, okay, and then you cut it out so that by the time you join it, probably to the bodies or to the sleeve that you already have, you would have exactly what you need, which is this. So I'm just going to eyeball 0.5 inches and cut it out. So again, you know that you need to hem your flare. When you're working with flare, the smaller, the tinier the hemming allowance, the better for you to be able to fold it inward. So for me, I'm just going to cut 0.5 inch below this line. 90-degree, circumference of 26. Let's measure round this radius. This is about 27 inches. So I'm going to use the extra 1 inch for zipper allowance, okay? So now to the 180-degree. The radius for a 180-degree flare is circumference divided by 3.14. Okay, so looking at this is how we got the radius. Radius for a full circle, circumference divided by 2 pi. So we are looking for half of the radius. So by the time we do the calculation and all, this is it. You're going to get radius to be circumference over pi, which is circumference over 3.14. So my radius is 26. 26 divided by 3.14, that gives me 8.28, right? 8.28 inches. So here is what I'm going to do. In order to know how to fold my fabric, what I'm going to do is to add the length of my flare, which is 5 inches, to 8.28. Alright, so that will give me 13.28. So let's assume this is my fabric. I'm going to measure 13.28, which is my radius plus the length of my flare, right? So let's measure 13.28 here. So you can just approximate it to 13.3 inches. 13.3 inches. Then you come again to this corner, measure from here again, 13.3 inches. And then you draw it into a straight line, and then you're going to fold your paper on this line. So this is the line here. So I'm just going to fold following this line. So my fold is on this line that we drew. Can you see the line? You see the mark I made here? Yeah, so this is the amount of fabric that I need from here this way, here. So now, like I said, my radius is 8.28, while the length is 5 inches, right? So I'm going to start to measure my radius from here, from this corner. So that will be 8.28, and at the same time, I'll be measuring the length, like I told you while we were making the 90-degree flare, right? So 8.28 and 13.28 at the same time. So now we are going to cut. But remember I said that when you want to cut your radius, don't cut on the radius line. Cut 0.5 inch above the line. And also for the hem, cut 0.5 inch, at least 0.5 inch below the line. This is the flare. This is 180-degree, and circumference is 26. So looking at this, you see this is half of a circle, this is a semicircle, and it is different from what we have here, which is the 90-degree. So guys, for the 270-degree flare, here is the formula. Okay, our radius C over 2 pi. So at the end of the day, what we are going to have as the radius is circumference divided by 2 pi times 4 over 3. because for the 270 degree, this is what we are trying to do. You know, 270 degree is still less than a full circle. A full circle is 360. So this here is 90. This 2 is 180. Then this 3, 1, 2, 3 is 270 degrees. So this is what we are trying to cut, 1, 2, and 3. All right. So in this tutorial, I'm going to show you how to fold your fabric so that you don't waste fabric and so that you can also save time. So this is the radius, C over 2 pi times 4 over 3. So the circumference is 26. 26 divided by 2 pi, 2 times 3.14 times 4 over 3. All right. So at the end of the day, what I have as my radius is 5.25. And then the length of my fabric, the length of the flare rather, is 5 inches. So 5.52 plus 5, that will be 10.52. So I can approximate that to 10.5. So guys, the length of the fabric that I need is 10.5 inches, right? So what I have here is about 11.5, which is fine. So now the first thing we're going to do is this. You measure 10.5. So this is 10.5, right? And then here as well, measure 10.5. Which is this, right? Measure 10.5 on this line too. And then you draw this into a straight line. So now what we are going to do is to fold our fabric, this paper, fold it into 3, following this line. This is me trying to manage my fabric, my paper actually. I apologize. Okay, so now looking at this, this is what I have. From here to here, this is one fold. From here, from this line to here, this is the second fold. And then from here to here, so this is the fabric. You see how I folded it? Don't mind this crease here, all right? This is what you should look at, this line and this line. 1 and 2. But because I wanted you to see it, I folded it underneath it like this. So now after folding it this way, you're going to come to one corner, one of the corners, and then you measure your radius and the length at the same time. So I'm just going to do it from here. 5.5 and 10.5, right? You're going to cut 0.5 inches above the radius and 0.5 inches below the length. So here it is. You see I've cut it at once. So looking at it this way, actually, this is a semicircle and this is another half of a semicircle. So this is 90 degrees plus 180, right? So if I put it this way, you see it is exactly half. All right, it is exactly half. So this is 180 degree plus 90 degree, that gives me 270. So I'm just going to cut this out and then I'll join it here. So can you see it? 1, 2, 3. All right, so this is 270 degree flare. So guys, one thing I forgot to mention was that, you know, we will be joining this 180 to 90, you know, we'll have to join it, right? So because we are going to join it, you should add like an extra 0.5 inch to your waist measurement. Okay, so at this point you should add 26, which is the waist measurement that I'm using, plus maybe 1. Let's do 1. That's 27 divided by 6.28 times 4 over 3. So whatever you get should be what you use to form your radius. Because if you don't do that, you'll be short. And the reason you'll be short of fabric is because we are going to have to join this together. Had it been that we will not join it, all right, you have enough to go around your waist and then for your zipper allowance. I hope you understand. So thank you guys for watching this tutorial. In the next tutorial, we will be doing the 360, 720 and then the 1080. Please drop your comments in the comment section below to tell me what you feel about the tutorial. Thank you very much. Please take care of yourself. Bye.